I first came to Brixton in 1977. I was living in a children's home before that, but I was living in Brixton Hill in a social services hostel, and it was such an exciting place to be. Of course, this was before I didn't. This is before I knew about the dangers of the overhanded policing in Brixton that was going on. It was exciting. There was the nightlife was incredible. There's music everywhere, reggae absolutely everywhere. Sound systems seemed to be appearing around every corner. And of course, you could get your weed for your Friday night raving or your Saturday night raving. You could do that. There were so many places to rave and shake a leg and find somewhere to dance away the night. It was an exciting place.
What happened? I mean, I know that the stop and search came in around that time. Did that make the atmosphere change?
It changed. Well, to be honest, it was changing slowly over the years since 1977 when I first came. Soon enough, I did know that you grew to understand the danger of the police and that they were the enemy, and that came in an increased way as much as I stayed there. And it was the start of 1981 that is when the police unleashed Operation Swamp. And I remember walking down the high street, Brixton High Street, and sometimes I would get stopped twice, 3 times, sometimes 4 times a day for looking in jewelry shops, shoe shops, any kinds of shops. They would just stop you and for any kind of stupid little suspicion they had. It's not to say that crime wasn't prevalent in the area at the time, but I think the way the police went about it, they were just targeting everybody who was between a certain age and black.
And was it mainly black people that were being stopped? I mean, you were being targeted.
Oh yes, definitely. You could feel that, and the anger and resentment just grew because of that. For example, if you're standing in a queue to line up for a nightclub and you're with your girlfriend and you're dressed up in your nice clothes and you're looking proud because your girlfriend's beside you, and then the police turn up and they frisk you in a very kind of rude way, and then they decide to arrest you and throw you in a van, and then, okay, you might not get charged at the end of that, but you're going to have resentment, and that resentment grew. I think what really happened is that the innocent got angry and aligned with whoever else was committing crimes at the time. Everybody hated the police, and so it grew from there. It really ratcheted up in January, February 81 and March 81 until we had the uprising in April.
So there was institutional discrimination?
Definitely. It seemed to us that they wanted to purge us off the streets. It seems that they felt that we didn't belong here, even though many of us were born here. I mean, I have a British passport. I was born here in 1963, and most of my peers were, and it felt that we were treated differently to anybody else in the country. We'd just been targeted and abused by the police, and we felt like aliens. And so we kind of stuck together because of that. They would do anything to stop us from going about our daily business. We couldn't have parties anymore. Well, a lot of the times the police would come and ram down the door and do an immediate stop and search for everybody in the party, even though nothing really much was going on. You know, these people just enjoying themselves, having an 18th year party or something like that, and the police was the enemy at that time. I mean, yes, we had great times on the nightlife and stuff, but the continuous police presence, it really made everyone feel wary, and especially after the campaigner Blair Peach was murdered by the police in Southall. I think this was 1980, correct me if I'm wrong, and we felt in Brixton that, hey, they're killing people in the streets now, and so this is when we really began to resist arrest, because we felt if they took us in, they might kill us too, and so at any cost we would try to resist any kind of arrest on the streets. Like before, maybe after a kind of minor struggle you might allow yourself to be taken in, but now we knew that the whole thing had got so much worse with the Blair Peach thing, and he wasn't even black, he was a New Zealander. The Conservative government at the time was undoubtedly racist, to my mind. The comments they used to say about black people and especially the way the Home Office would treat us, and the comments they said at the day, they were just fundamentally racist, and the police reflected that. And I think because of the government of the time, the police kind of allowed themselves to do what they wished against us. So that's where it stems from, because at the end of the day, it's the Home Secretary. It was William Wheatle at the time. He seemed to allow these things to happen. All complaints, they were just pushed aside, that there's nothing to complain about, and they have to stamp on the crime somehow, whatever, but they forgot about the innocent people being caught up in all this, and police beatings and framed ups and all kinds of things. And it's only now in the last few years that the police at the time, who were operated in Brixton at the time, actually admitted that there were frame-ups. There's a policeman who's now a friend of mine, Peter Blexley, who's admitted that on TV programmes, and even Brian Paddock, the Lib Dem candidate, he's even admitted it, that these things went on. And so it took a long time for the police actually to admit what happened in Brixton. But I'm just glad now that they have done that, so people look on it now with different eyes.